Happy Friday. Welcome to America's Day of the Races on Fox Sports 2. Live look at South Oaklawn Park, New York and Aqueduct Racetrack as we are 10 minutes away from the opening race. On the card, Greg Wolf, New York Racing Association handicapper, Andy Serling here in studio. Live coverage as well out at Oaklawn. We'll get to our crew in Hot Springs shortly. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in like 15 minutes.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I miss you whenever I don't see you. Big weekend coming up. We have a Derby prep we will touch on a little bit from Colonial Downs. Bob Baffert with another runner.
We're going to discuss how loaded Bob is or isn't for the Derby. At this point, I guess a lot of them are players, and we'll start out with a maiden race. I don't think those odds are correct. Oh, I'm sorry, the fourth race.
Which is our early feature on this.
Already.
Yeah, we have split coverage today, so this is part one of our coverage. And Romantic Dancer looks like the controlling speed in race 4 and the one to beat with Flavien Prat.
Yeah, I mean, she is coming off of 4 straight seconds. She wasn't favored in any of those starts, and she does figure to be favored today. She's had a month off since her last race, or 4 weeks, which in February is considered a month. And the main challenge, perhaps, will come from Artemis Sound, who has not run since August in Saratoga. And I just think the recency from Romantic Dancer and the speed is going to make her tough to beat, and I think you agree.
And she wound up second there, but the winner of that race, Bam's Bliss Kiss, she's been on a tear. She's won 4 in a row.
Rush. Yeah, she's been in great form. Brought that form down from Finger Lakes for Linda Dixon. Has had a terrific winter.
That's a 7-5 morning line favorite. That is race 4, 2:44 Eastern start time. So that'll be part of our early coverage. We're on 1 to 3 for shift number 1. Back 5:30 to 6:30. Here's what's ahead, presented by Claiborne Farm. Good conditions on the track here in New York. Fast in Hot Springs. We'll bring you races 1 through 3. And then later coverage races 9 and 10. We'll check in with Mig and Megan Burgess in just a little bit. You can play all the action we're bringing you and more right there at Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. That's the offer. New customers get that $200 deposit match. New customers sign up with that code, match 200 at nairabets.com. So we begin our coverage today with a $40,000 maiden claiming 1-turn mile. Linda Rice with both the 1 and 2. Belmont with the 4, who's trying dirt for the first time. Let's check in downstairs with Maggie Wolfendahl.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. Linda Rice, she'll send out the literal 1-2 punch in here, as she does have Antietam down on the rail, who is your current favorite. But we'll check in with the new acquisition here. That's number 2, Restless Renegade, as she claimed this one out of Kentucky, as we've seen her do many times before and be very successful. But prior to claiming this horse from Tom Amoss, this horse was with Kenny McPeek, and I've said it multiple times. I find that claiming horses from Kenny McPeek can be a bit tough. Now, we saw how he ran first off the claim for Tom, but then again, that could have been because of the wet sealed track. His 2 wet sealed track races are pretty bad, and I can see why. He is a broad-bodied, chunky type of horse, and a lot of times that physical makeup just does not translate well to very wet racetracks. Now, we're dealing with a good Harrowed 1 today, so I don't foresee him having difficulty with the track. My problem is the distance. While this is the first time that he will try to compete at a 1-turn mile on a track that, well, at least is open as far as its condition, I just don't see him being a distance type of runner. Now, he should get the run of the race. You would think that he does look as though he could be the fastest horse on paper, though his stablemate isn't slow necessarily either. So we'll see what he does. He does look incredibly strong coming back, but I wonder if he does need to tuck up at least through his barrel, and is this really the right condition for him? Really don't know if this is the right condition for number 4, Gaborone, for Bill Mott, as he gets a bit of a makeover here, coming back as a new gelding. He gets Lasix for the first time, and it's almost like the opposite. You know, a lot of times I'll have a horse that might be acting up and distracted, and they come back with the Lasix and the gelding, and they're a lot more relaxed, calm, and focused. Literally the opposite. This horse was really laid back the first time, the last time I saw him, which was back in November. And today he is full of beans. He has been on the muscle. He's very energetic here. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, considering the changes. As far as switching surfaces, now there is a plethora of pedigree for this guy to be a turf horse. He's a son of Oscar Performance, which, relating that to the bottom side, makes him a 3/4 brother to Charming Kitten, who's a graded stakes winner on the turf, as well as 3/4 brother to Portfolio Company and Queen's Plate Kitten, both of which were multiple graded stakes placed runners on the turf. But, Greg, the fact of the matter is, looking at him physically here in the paddock, he does not look overtly turf meant, which I find very interesting here. He looks 90% fit, maybe could use a race to strengthen up coming in off the layoff, but now that I see him, I'm a little bit more intrigued than what I was looking at him on form.
I feel like we've already learned something in today's show.
We have.
Gaborone, and is the capital of Botswana.
Thank you for that.
So my day is complete. I'm going home now.
Well done. Andy has contributed to the program. This is the feature later today at Oaklawn. This will be on part 2 of our coverage that begins at 5:30 Eastern. 5.5 furlongs. Ratings handicap. You have Steve Asmus, now stalled, Dallas Stewart, Peter Miller in this race. None of those barns, though, with the potential favorite in this field. It is a good one later this evening. Let's check in with Richie Migliori, finally off his Delta flight, and Megan Burgess.
Hey guys, yeah, I made it here. It's a beautiful day in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and it's kind of an interesting new initiative, this ratings handicap, and I think a lot of it is, Megan, because they want to give the smaller stables a chance to run their horses in an appropriate place without running the risk of getting claimed, because a guy doesn't have a lot of horses. It's hard to replenish those horses, and it's kind of a work in progress. They're going to continue to tweak the rating system, but this is a pretty good one here. You get some fillies that have been in stakes, like Can't Believe It, coming out of the poinsettia, and she's been showing good speed. Jimmy DeVito, a horseman I have so much respect for.
Yeah, this was, to me, kind of one of those races where a lot of these allowance horses are just trying to find a place to go. Maybe not in their best of forms, but Can't Believe It here as we take a look back at her 5.5 for a long try in the poinsettia, which I think was a bit sharp for her. She cut the pace early and then was kind of the first one to fade there late, as she, to me, is going to have some more company on the front end in this group. We've got a couple of others that are going to meet her on the front end early, and I think that could certainly take some out of her. I looked to others. I wanted to see if there could be potentially kind of that tracking type horse in today's feature, because this should be a quick pace early.
Yeah, and it does appear to me that Can't Believe It does her best running when she's on the lead, but like you, I believe she will have company. Guys, beautiful day here. I hope the weather's treating you well back in New York.
Richie's a little like that song, The Man Who Never Returned. The guy who was in the streets of Boston. The guy who gets lost in the train and he can never get home. It could be Richie one of these days with his flights.
Finally made it, though.
Yeah.
He's a warrior. Go ahead and pronounce this one. Linda Rice, Jose Lezcano.
Yes, Greg and I are having a pronunciation day.
Antietam.
Antietam. Yes, of course, the Battle of Antietam. Looks like the horse. I don't know. I guess this horse kind of the horse to beat. I don't know.
Restless Renegade, the stablemate of Antietam.
Yeah, it was interesting what Maggie had to say about it. It is true, this horse only tried it around on dirt once and didn't do any running that day, but does have speed.
Gaborone trying dirt first time.
Yeah, the problem I have is this horse, Belmont, if this horse wins today, even at this level, Bill got this horse completely wrong. Is it possible? I guess.
And then Mr. RT outside, who you went with, trained by Jose Jimenez.
I am going to bet horses that were outside against the racetrack. And either this horse was down inside on a day you probably didn't want to be on the rail. So I'm going to take this horse as the alternative. We saw it yesterday in the first race. There were 2 Linda Rices that were the first 2 choices. They kind of battled it out, and a horse who was an against the track trip picked them up in the stretch. So see if lightning can strike twice.
Well, with more on Mr. RT, let's go back to Maggie.
Yeah, a horse that he's got a third off of that layoff, his 5th career start overall, but one that has just taken a while to kind of race into fitness. He's such a big, burly type of horse where, that kind of comes with the territory given the way he's put together. But he was very forward in the paddock, which last time we saw him show maybe a little bit of a new dimension just because he was getting a little bit more ground to work with and kind of under the gun from that inside post position. Now he gets to draw outside and see how things play out to his inside. But I thought he was pretty logical given the fact that he's finally kind of putting it all together mentally and physically, as I'm going to cop out here and take the favorite, Antietam, a horse that, yeah, I know he was claimed away from Todd Pletcher, and maybe he should have gotten the job done by now. But he was kind of pushing the pace between horses last time out over that sloppy sealed surface, same race as Mr. RT. And I thought he hung in fairly gamely. His shot kind of got to loop and swoop around the outside. So he wasn't necessarily as against the track as Mr. RT, but then again, didn't have the easiest of trips either. He just looks phenomenal. This is the best I've ever seen this horse appear prior to a start. So I'm just going to lean on the favorite here, Greg.
7-5. Thank you, Maggie, on Antietam.
Well, favoritism is teetering, sorry.
Yeah. Look, Restless Renegade, the stablemate next door, I mean, that one should be loose, right?
I guess. I mean, I think it, I think the Restless Renegade is faster than the one, so is supposed to get in front of that horse. I think that the question with this horse, there's a couple of them, but one, I think, important point Maggie brought up, and I think, she has some reservations about this horse necessarily wanting a mile. I also think, and she would agree with this, at this level, it's not splitting hairs, but it may matter less than obviously with a more talented group. I also wonder, she claimed this horse from Tom Amoss. It's taken her almost 5 months to get to the races. Those are some negatives, right?
No
and
doubt.
She has bad numbers with maidens. Off the claim, dirt maidens going a route. She's just 5 for 43 with a 54-cent ROI. And this is race 2 back, which, this would make the horse to beat. It's a list track that's muddy, but it is harrowed. So runs this race, he's going to probably win unless he just can't handle the distance.
And this is the race that's making this one take all this money. Beat by a half length, running second, 6 furlongs. Yeah, muddy track at Churchill Downs. And then just went massively backwards, though, off of this effort. And then went to the bench. But you could excuse it. Went to the bench, now coming back.
Yeah.
Perhaps something went wrong.
Yeah, and maybe didn't love, the 2 times this horse has been on a sealed track. This horse has basically one time been eased, and the other time was that bad race last time. So the horse may not like a sealed track. It's hard to know. I don't have, a strong opinion on these horses. I think it's a negative sign for the 2 that Antietam is this big a favorite. Do you think?
Yeah, look, total reversal of the morning line.
Yeah, so I'm not sure that's a positive. So, like I said, I'm going to try to beat them both, but we'll see what happens.
Kick off this Friday card here in New York. Linda Rice with the top 2 choices on the board. Antietam, the 1, the 2, Restless Renegade. Let's go upstairs. Chris Griffin, the call.
Goes in. All set. Race 1. And they're off at Aqueduct. Breaking outward was Mr. RT. There's Clint Master in the early mix, and in between horses, Restless Renegade. Restless Renegade now puts a nose in front of Mr. RT, who's challenging early. These 2 head-and-head as they get set to come out of the chute and hook up at the back stretch. At the rail, Antietam starts to move forward. It's going to be the trailer, though, behind Gaborone. And in between horses there, Purple Silks of Clint Master. Tightly bunched here in the opener. And at the rail, comfortable Restless Renegade is content to just let Mr. RT tug for Dalila Rivera to the outside, ahead advantage 23.80 for that opening quarter mile. Out wide of there, 3 wide in that second grouping as Gaborone is now shoved along to move forward. Clint Master still in between horses, and Antietam, patiently ridden here by Jose Lescano, is now a challenging third as they're approaching 4 furlongs left to go. Into the far turn now, Restless Renegade with a nose advantage to the outside, Mr. RT. 47.10 the half-mile time, and smoothly Antietam is now moving right in behind this battling duo. Lescano just waiting for a seam as they approach a quarter mile left to go. All in. Gaborone not making up the ground, and Clint Master the trailer. A quarter mile left to go on the top of the stretch, and now Antietam's going to take an outside run. Restless Renegade's right there, and a stubborn foe in Mr. RT. Mr. RT to the outside of Restless Renegade. Every shot for Antietam to run him down. Grandstand side, 111.62 for 3/4. In between horses still, Mr. RT battles on. Antietam is just edging clear now, is up by a half length. Back to second, Mr. RT, but give it to Antietam in the opener. Mr. RT second, then Restless Renegade. And Clint Master, 1 minute 37.53 seconds.
Public gets it right here. Antietam, Linda Rice, Jose Lescano, and as you mentioned to me, midway through this race in the perfect position.
Couldn't have gotten a better trip and a better setup. I was surprised my horse, Mr. RT, who I think ran the best race, was that forward in there. I'm not knocking the rider. I like a rider that's aggressive in this spot. As it turned out, had to deal with Linda's horse, and Maggie was absolutely right about the two not wanting this distance. Was easily put away by the number 5, Mr. RT, who battled gamely, but perfect trip got it done for Antietam, who won the battle.
Indeed, well done. 1, 5, 2, 3, even money favorite for Linda Rice. With Jose Lezcano, owned by Ronald Stewart, kicks off this Friday card.
And I think the other thing we learned was that Belmont was not wrong. Turf was probably the better surface for Gabrone.
Did not run well at all. Formful beginning to this Friday card from New York. Back with you on our Friday coverage, and this is coming up awfully fast. Belmont Week, Saratoga, final chance to see the third and final leg of the Triple Crown at historic Saratoga Racecourse, June 3rd through 7th. Entire week loaded with talent.
5 days of racing. Going to be a really fun week. It always is. And looking forward to it. Obviously looking forward to getting back to Belmont for the Belmont Stakes next year, the new Belmont, but one more time at Saratoga. I'm game.
Will we have a Triple Crown on the line?
I don't know. It's a great question.
Here's the lineup. Belmont Week, New York Showcase Day to start things off Wednesday, June 3rd.
Yep. Stakes throughout the card. Multiple stakes, grade ones on Friday with the New York and the Acorn. We've moved the Just a Game back to Saturday. We'll have the 2 stakes on Sunday as well, so can't wait. Also means good weather.
What a Saturday lineup that is on Belmont Stakes Day. Be part of it. Get your tickets now. Our card underway. Antietam, Linda Rice, Jose Lezcano at even money.
Sat the perfect trip. Didn't exactly win like an even money shot should. Got the job done for Linda.
One more look. down the stretch, and sitting in just the perfect spot with the 2 and 5 battling each other and able to pounce.
You had brought up to me earlier today how Jose Lezcano was hitting the board with almost 2/3 of his mounts, which really is tremendous. I mean, obviously he rides a lot for Linda, who's winning a lot of races, but he and his agent PJ Campo doing a great job together.
That's incredible. 66% coming into today, I believe. Win here, and waiting for this one to go official, and it has. So 1, 5, 2, 3, and we'll move on to race 2 here in a moment. And this incredible pace for Linda Rice continuing.
Well, Linda prepared herself for this meet, and she's got a lot of horses, and she's brought a lot of horses to New York, and she's supporting us very heavily, and she's dominating. Nobody else is doing that. What we need are 5 Linda Rices. You know, people will be critical sometimes, and I don't know how you can criticize somebody that's supporting the game.
Opener from Oaklawn, it's 10 minutes away out in Hot Springs. They'll kick off the card with a maiden claiming 6 furlong sprint. Princeton rolling through our screen, one of a few contenders in the opener.
$1,600,000. Thank you.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Here comes that big gray Tappet Trice right down the outside.
Tappet Trice wins the Toyota Bluegrass.
Tappet Trice's 2024 debut was awesome.
Tappet Trice is lunging. Tappet Trice wins the Woodward.
New York breds. Race them.
Respect them.
Bet them.
Respect them.
Breed them.
Respect them.
650, 75. Buy them.
Respect them.
75. Now 700. Train them for a second career.
Respect them.
Join us in respecting thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. I'm Richard Migliori alongside Megan Burgess, and the horses are on the track for race 1 on this glorious day. Breezy, but glorious day here in Hot Springs.
It's gorgeous.
And we're going to jump right in the post parade with the 1, Princeton.
Second off of the bench, could improve at 6 furlongs yet again.
Empire Ranch taking some money.
I like this horse, especially cutting back in distance, gets the blinkers off.
3 horse was scratched. Arkansas Dave.
Drops down in class, but an Arkansas bred facing open foes, despite the level being a bit lower.
Kind of a lateral move there. Big Tech favorite, looks formidable.
Looks formidable, but to me, just going through my notes, it seems as the distance was better for him, even though he hasn't shown a lot of form.
Roku Nana, got to improve.
Got to improve. Now, again, an Arkansas bred against open and for the $20,000 tag.
Cheap Valor, the 7.
Mid-range type, Cameron Milligan is doing pretty well with his small sample size of runners here at Oaklawn.
And Max is taking another drop down in class for Ron Moquette. Flash speed last time.
That's the key with this horse. I think he's interesting because there isn't a lot of speed to come by in this race, Mig.
No, it doesn't look like a tremendous amount of speed, but talk about speed. We're going to head off to our first break here before the first race, and we'll be back with more racing here on America's Day at the Races. Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. We're about 3 minutes out from race 1 at Oaklawn Park. And Megan, I guess I kind of took the easy way out. I like the favorite, the 5 Big Tech. I just thought dropping in class, maybe a little bit more consistent, at least as far as his buyer figures go when he sprints.
Yeah, and he has a bit of speed, especially when these horses get out of a much lesser competition. And on this precipitous class drop, they are able to be a bit more forward. We'll see. I agree with you. I think he's certainly the most logical horse on paper, and he's not. He's just been so badly beaten that I thought about looking elsewhere in a group where there's just. It's tough. You've got a lot of class droppers. Then you've got some that are in and around this level, and it's pick your poison, because I thought this was kind of wide open and didn't have any speed, which was key.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you went to the 2 Empire Ranch, which makes some sense to me as well, because his lone sprint on the dirt was far away his best race, and if he runs that race, he will win.
Yeah, I think that he's going to hopefully get an aggressive ride under Johan Rosado from the inside. He's got to, because I think that's his main weapon. He gets the blinkers off, which sometimes is an attempt to rate them, but blinkers, and if you ask trainers, this is, as I have often, sometimes can have the opposite effect. They can provide a horse of maybe running with the emergency brakes and zapping that early speed. So I'm hopeful the blinkers off will be able to wake him actually back up a little bit. He cuts back. I thought he framed up beautifully on the track. He's one that I thought looked great back on February the 19th, and perhaps does just need a cutback. Listen, I thought this was so wide open. It won't surprise me if this horse doesn't do a whole lot of running, but I thought with an aggressive ride and the right kind of trip, he could be interesting at 3-1.
Yeah, usually the conventional wisdom around blinkers going on a horse is to get them more focused, maybe make them a bit more aggressive, taking blinkers off, sometimes to get them to relax a little bit more. But like you said, there's no cookie cutter way to do this, because every horse reacts different to different equipment and things. And I just like the fact that they're changing stuff up, right? They say, well, we're not getting the results we want. Let's take the blinkers off. Let's turn them back in distance and drop in class. So there's a lot of changes here, and I think he is very, very live here as well. I really like the one horse in the warm-up. Watching this horse in the preliminaries made a really nice impression. Kind of took a little step forward on the drop last time, takes another little bit of drop in class. I thought the one Princeton from Shortleaf Stable, John Ed Anthony's Shortleaf Stable, was a little bit interesting as well.
He is, and he's another that's steadily dropping in class. They started him off on the grass at Kentucky Downs. He's by Daredevil. I made a note that he does look a bit turfy, considering they also wanted to get him on the turf 2 back. That was rained off, and he actually improved on the dirt going on the cutback last time out, and he didn't have the best of trips. He took a bump early that day. He was kind of steadily being asked, and then he was stymied inside the quarter pole, where he just didn't really want to go inside. It seemed he just wasn't as courageous, which with these lower level horses, that's often the case. So I didn't think he had the cleanest trip, but yet again, he gets an inside draw, and a horse that hasn't shown speed, I'm hesitant that he could encounter similar issues.
Yeah, especially from the rail. Got to work out a trip. You know, we've got an interesting jockey colony here. A couple of guys have left, like, Luis Saez and Joel Rosario. They're riding in Florida now. But a good core of riders. Ramon Vasquez leading the way at this point. He has a mountain here in the 8 Maxis. Christian Torres in second at the moment. He does not ride this race. Francisco Arrieta having another good meet. Eric Asmussen riding well. He'll probably overtake Luis Saez at some point for at least 4th position in these jockey standings. Interesting colony, kind of an eclectic group, Megan.
It is. A lot of these riders, like Ramon, they'll maybe go down to Remington and ride some of the Midwest circuits, and then Christian will go to Kentucky. It's Luis Saez came in here, Joel Rosario, Ricardo Santana Jr. earlier on the meet. It really materialized to be a really strong colony, but I'll tell you what, these guys that have been here, that have had the business, that have had those relationships, have retained their business and have continued to ride incredibly well, and it shows in the standings. So Luis Saez has ridden incredibly well here, but it's almost like maybe we thought he was going to rue the nest, but it didn't really seem to play out that way, Mig.
No, it's a tough colony to crack into. You know, the people have established relationships. So it's interesting how that works out. One thing about here at Oaklawn, and every jurisdiction's a little bit different, and for people that don't know, jockeys go out in the morning to work horses out for trainers. And I compare it to an actor going out auditioning for parts. Trainer wants to see a jockey gets along with a horse. A director wants to see that an actor is right for that part. It's kind of the similar situation here. But we're going to find out what happens in race 1 as they're loading up pretty quickly here, this field of maiden claimers. Matt Dinnerman, he'll have your call.
Chief Valor, second to last. Anthony outside, Maxis rounds out the field. 10 races on the docket today. Good luck. We're ready to go. We're off and running at Oaklawn Park. Good beginning for all the runners. Big Tech prominent. There's a lineup on the lead here. Max is pretty close to the pace. Here comes Princeton moving forward on the inside to be part of the action. Those three across the track. Now Princeton and Big Tech kick on. Max is right behind them in the third position. Empire Ranch on the rail. He's running in fourth. Arkansas Dave to his outside. Chief Valor, Roku Nana at the back. As they go towards the far turn, the top two spar on the front end here. Big Tech outside, nose in front. Princeton holds the inside as they go into the far turn. They've opened up three. Max is sent along, but he's gaining ground in the third position. Arkansas Dave is fourth. 6 behind as they're strung out now. Chief Valor under a ride. Empire Ranch is given way. And at the back is Roku Nana as they hit the quarter pole. Big Tech on the lead. Princeton calls it a day. Maxis into second, chasing Big Tech on the front end. Big Tech off the turn, the leader here. Opens up a length and a half. Max is trying behind him. Now he's 2 behind Big Tech. 1 furlong to go. Big Tech clear. Maxis second best coming to the 16th pole. And Big Tech is opening up the lead here. Big Tech by 4 coming to the finish. Big Tech on the class drop gets it done. Max is second. Arkansas Dave was third. Chief Valor fourth across the line.
Well, the drop in class for number 5, Big Tech, was the answer. He just was in control pretty much from start to finish. Shook off an early challenge from the one Princeton. And you could see turning for home, he was going very comfortably, Megan.
He was best. A precipitous drop in class out of Maiden Special Company to Maiden $15,000 claimers. Yesterday, some of my observations was that the rail was doing pretty good as well as speed. But at the same time, this is a lower level race, the first of the day, and usually speed does prevail in these situations, but we'll continue to monitor throughout the day.
Well, it was the favorite, Big Tech, in the opener. Let's head back to New York. Race 2 is in the paddock.
All right, thanks, you two. 8 minutes away, race 2. It starts the early pick 4 as we look at the favorite here, Liam's Diva, start number 3 for the Miguel Clement barn.
Yeah, this was perfectly logical. I don't have a lot to say. I think should be stalking Holy Lane. Is it? Probably Holy Lane, right? The LN.
Holly Lane.
Holly Lane. Thank you for that. I kind of preferred that one just at a better price, but I have no knock on Liam's Diva, who in this race seems very logical. Like I said, I only picked Holly Lane over this horse because I just thought that she would be a better price, and with blinkers on, the inside speed, I took her. But, I mean, let's be honest. The 3, 4, or 6 are going to probably win this race. The 2 is not a particularly likely winner, and there's not a lot of meat on the bone here, and this is the one to beat, I think.
I agree with you all that. Liam's Diva should not be even money, though, should she?
Well, I think your point is more, I don't want to bet anybody in this race at even money. On the other hand, it's a 4-horse field where one's an outlier, so only 3 can take much money. So doesn't somebody figure to be even money or less? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I hear what you're saying. There's nobody in this race you look at and go, God, I don't want to take even money anybody, which is why I picked the 2, because I had thought that she would be a 3. She would be a slightly better price. And she appears to be, as she is third price in the doubles. I'm a little surprised that the 4 and 6 are the same price, but to be fair, from a buyer speed figure standpoint, Backstreets has run faster figures.
Yeah. Here is Holly Lane's debut. She'll get blinkers on this afternoon. She's only beat a half length, sitting just off the pace.
Yeah, I mean, she was outside. This was a day the rail was good. I don't think it was the bias was starting to ebb a little bit, but it was still pretty good. So she was a bit against it, and I thought she ran fine. Now, the concern is, and this is not a knock on the current trainer, this horse was claimed away from Amelia Green, and I don't know there's any trainer whose horses are running better than Amelia's have been running this winter. I mean, she doesn't have the stock that Linda does, but it just seems like everything Amelia's been running has been live.
Yeah, going to a lower percentage barn.
Not a knock on this barn at all, and they win the races. It's just more going. I would say this about just about any trainer. I'm not sure how much I want to claim horses from Amelia Green. She's good.
This is the one that really sort of being dismissed, and easy to see why to this point. We have 2 races on the resume, and a distant 5th and even more distant 7th of 8.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you might say this horse ran against some better horses, but was easily beaten by Backstreets, easily beaten by Liam's Diva. I don't know what case you can make for this horse.
There's those prices from Oaklawn. Big Tech, that win. Rafael Bejarano for Ray Ashford Jr. with that big drop in class.
Made 520 look like a steal.
Yes.
As Richie noted and Meg noted, you could see top of the stretch, the rider was just sitting on that horse, Bejarano.
Riders up, post-parade coming up in a field where the 3, 4, 6.
I tell you, those plastic flowers are really starting to bloom. You know, it's always really the rite of spring when the plastic flowers come out.
Those are real flowers, Andy.
I don't think they are.
They are. You can see them.
Mitch and I are not sure we agree with you.
We're going to have to figure that out before the end of
the show.
It's
A little early for flowers to be out there, I think.
Bow Hill, 10-1, and would need a huge improvement.
Yes, agreed.
Eric
If you want the rank outside or the small field, this is all for you, all yours.
So, and not just these contenders. We talked about it earlier when we did Talking Horses, pace-wise too. Who's going to get the lead? The 3, the 4 both have speed.
I agree. I think Ricardo with blinkers on will be a bit in front, but it's close.
Liam's Diva, still even money here. Start number 3 for the Miguel Clement barn.
Yeah, I mean, you know, she makes perfect sense. I get why she's favored, but I hear what you're saying. It's hard to take even money on anybody here.
And Backstreets has been in against, for the most part, better company.
And she should sit a good stalking spot. It's not as though, you know, she may not have quite the speed of 3 and 4, but she's not slow, and she can sit right behind them. She might get the same trip that we saw Antietam get in race number 1.
4 minutes to post. Race 2 starts the early pick 4. Get a $10 bonus by playing with Naira bets. Bet $50 each on Aqueduct and Oaklawn Park today. Opt in, and you get that bonus in your account.
Where's Maggie Hyde?
3 minutes to post. Race 2. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Liam's Diva. Maggie, what do you think?
Hiding, Andy? Where do I hide here? If you know, please tell me, because it's a little chilly today. Liam's Diva is your current even money favorite in here. And yeah, she looks great. You know, it's the first time I'm laying eyes on her in her 3rd career start, but she is nicely put together. She's athletic. She's very fit and warming up A-okay. So yeah, I could see her winning here, absolutely. But she will have to likely deal with the pace presence of Holly Lane, as you guys were talking about. And Andy, you kind of like took the words from my mouth. Well, I didn't cover her race first time out. I would be apt to guess that this filly just doesn't look quite as good as what she did first time out for Amelia. You know, kind of got that wintry coat on her. She just could be carrying a bit more conditioning and strength across her top line as those big kind of cheater blinkers go on with her. And she is pretty sharp, but she's also smaller. And you know, sometimes that doesn't matter. I get that. But when you're looking at stepping up against, albeit a small field, but 2 other rivals that have been in better fields, it shows when you look at Holly Lane versus the 4 and 6 in here, which I'm just going to take the little bit of a better price on Backstreet / the fact that she, minus her mile effort, has kind of consistently run the faster races. And furthermore, I didn't necessarily love the way she looked back on January 23rd, and she has, you know, missed a race since then, but I'm okay with that because honestly, she looks better. She looks better in her coat. She looks better in her muscle mass. I really like what I'm seeing from her. I loved her warm-up as well here with Jose Lescano. So I'm going to take her. I think she has enough tactical pace to just kind of set up shop right outside. Although, Greg, I will say we have seen an aggressive warm-up by Jose out on the racetrack.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Jose Lescano, Backstreets 9-5. And as we thought, I mean, look, 3, 4, 5, not a whole lot separating them.
I have a question.
3, 4, 6.
And can we bring Maggie back in on this conversation? And in no way is this a criticism, but you know, we'll often talk, and Maggie and other people, about horses getting aggressive warm-ups. Have we really seen any evidence, Maggie, that those aggressive warm-ups necessarily translate to the horses showing speed? Or do you think it's just an effort to, like, sort of get them more revved up for the race, but not necessarily show speed? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I totally understand what you're saying. And I think that, it's a case by case basis and generally depends on the rider on their back. With Jose Lescano, I typically find it does translate. Like, you think back, that Chad Summers horse that ran in the CCA Oaks, and we all thought she was going to be
Dry
speed.
powder.
And I
Dry
said,
powder, yeah.
dry powder. And
Yeah.
I said out in the racetrack, she is not getting a warm up whatsoever. And he got nowhere near the lead.
And he got
so
replaced.
a rider like Jose. Right. So a rider like Jose Lescano, I do think it matters slightly, but I understand what you're saying. Like Kendrick Carmouche, he's going to give every horse the
Always.
same exact warm-up, so you can't read into it with him.
Thanks. Dry Powder won yesterday at Gulfstream as a heavy favorite. I think it was her 4-year-old debut. I'm not sure, but I think so.
Yeah.
She got pretty good at the end of last year.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Here we go. Another even money favorite. Who obliged in the opener. It's Liam's Diva here, the 4. Jamie Rodriguez for Miguel Clement. There she is. Start number 3. Let's go upstairs. Chris Griffin, the call.
Liam's Diva's gone in, and here's Backstreets. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Holly Lane breaks with Sharply. It's up by a quick length, and Holly Lane is going to sprint away early. Now up by 2, 3, 4 widening lengths. It's Holly Lane and Ricardo Santana Jr. going to try and win it on the front end. Liam's Diva is in pursuit there with Backstreets. They're second and third, and far back. The early trailer, Bow Hill. They start to cut into the margin now. Is coming back to the field, Holly Lane. Holly Lane went 22.27 unopposed on the front end as Backstreets is now ranging up to the outside 2 wide. Liam's Diva's at the rail as a ground-saving third. Big gap, 7 lengths back to the trailer, Bow Hill. They've caught the pace setter, Holly Lane, only with a nose advantage, is encouraged to try and keep this advantage, but now is backing out of it. As to the outside, it was Backstreets, to the inside, Liam's Diva. These two start the sprint for home, but Backstreets quickly opens up by 2. Now 3, it's Backstreets and Jose Lescano approaching a final furlong, and they are well out in front. Backstreets just continues to widen that margin with a 16th left to go. It's all Backstreets will win it. Backstreet's your winner. Then comes Liam's Diva, Bow Hill, and Holly Lane. At 1:11.14 seconds.
Backstreets winds up going off the even money favorite and winds up winning. So 2 even money shots to start off this Friday card.
Yeah, well, the race complexion changed when Liam's Diva got left. It got Holly Lane loose. Obviously, she just can't really run. It was a bad pick on my part. She kind of seemed like she was sort of being eased almost coming in a stretch. And with the 4 getting left, I don't think it really mattered, though. The way Backstreets won, there was no situation where she wasn't going to win this race for Mark Hennig.
5th time, finally breaks through. She'll get her picture taken here, daughter of Connect. And Jose Lescano with the early double on this Friday card here, 111 flat for the 6 furlongs.
This horse ran today.
Yeah.
The track's a little on the quicker side. You can see it in the times, but this horse ran. I mean, to be honest, this horse was a winner every step of the way. Kind of see it.
6-4.
And up the favorite, huh?
2-3. Yeah, even money. Had been facing better. So I think it's Britain and Interstate Love Song.
And I'll tell you something else. I think what Maggie and I both talked about with Amelia Green, the way Holly Lane ran, Amelia had this horse cranked up first time. It may have been this horse wouldn't have run well for Amelia coming back. I'm going to keep an eye. She's not a trainer that I'm eager to bet horses claim from. Horses win, and I just wonder if you don't want to take horses from her.
Pick 6 next on the Friday card. Prices from the 2nd when we come back. And it's Backstreet's early double to jockey Jose Lescano on this Friday card from Aqueduct. Back in our Friday coverage here on America's Day at the Races, brought to you by America's Best Racing, making the sport easier to follow. Explore stories, betting tips, and race day insights at americasbestracing.net. Here's what's new at ABR. Kentucky Derby Futures, assessing the fields at odds. Shift in the early spring. Our big ones still ahead of us with those 100-point races. It's at Hazelwood, continuing to impress, and National Horse Players Championship preview.
This weekend, Las Vegas. We wish everybody best of luck out there for that. And I saw something where the morning line favorite for the Derby in the latest pool was Paladin at 5-1. If you're betting Paladin at 5-1, you're absolutely out of your mind, in my opinion, because and I hope he wins, and I think he could win. I certainly want to see Chad, as my good friend, win the race, but if he wins the Bluegrass, what's the shortest he can be? 3-1, 7-2 in the Derby? Didn't we just have a prep in Florida, the Fountain of Youth, where both the first and second place finishers had faster figures than he's been running? I'm not saying he can't win the Derby, but it feels like he's supposed to be 12-1 right now. And maybe he's one of the favorites. And if he loses the Bluegrass, he'll be 10-1 in the Derby. If you booked him at 5-1, you don't have a lot of downside, do you?
Let's wait before we assess his Derby chances. Let's wait and see what he does in his final prep.
Right. I think he can win the Derby. I'm just saying 5-1 at this point is nuts.
Back streets, Jose Lezcano back-to-back to kick off the card. And this one looked very impressive against this group.
Yeah, his horse was much the best, and helped a little by the 4 not breaking. But given how Liam's Diva ran and Backstreet's ran, it didn't make any difference. Backstreet's was never losing this race, ever.
Even money. First 2 races on our Friday action here from New York. We had a favorite kick things off at Oaklawn as well.
And Jose's riding a horse who was the morning line favorite here, is right now third choice and sequential, but I can't believe that horse is going to be third choice. Can you?
No. Will be second choice at worst, right?
At worst.
If not favorite.
David makes this horse as heavy a favorite as he did. He's rarely wrong in those
full
situations.
circle will not be the favorite.
Maldini is the favorite, though. That's something that you and I had talked about in Talking Horses. I don't think either one is surprised.
20,000 claiming race, now winners of 2 lifetimes, so just maiden winners in this field, 1 turn mile. And yes, this sequential, Jose Lezcano looking to take the first 3 on this Friday card. And he has obviously a major player to do it, but also the horse who's probably going to be in front leading the way.
Agreed. He could have one heck of a day.
All right, we'll have more on race 3 coming up momentarily. Take a look at the road to this year's Kentucky Derby. That first Saturday in May creeping upon us. And we have a big Derby prep out of Colonial Downs this weekend. $500,000 Virginia Derby at a mile and an eighth.
When you think Derby preps, Colonial Downs is one of the track that first comes to your mind. A race that's been a turf race they used to run the weekend after Saratoga every year, actually, is now a prep. And we saw American Promise get a chance to run the Derby for Wayne Lucas, right? Wayne's last Derby runner, correct? I don't think the Derby winner is coming out of this race. I'm just going to say it right now.
It's a pretty good group, though. There's some interesting horses in here. Butane for Bob Baffert, who obviously ran a much bigger figure in the San Vicente and went a little backwards in the Southwest. High Camp, interesting. But let's take a look at that Southwest. Butane beat, obviously, by Silent Tactic here.
He couldn't win the Derby unless they ran it in heats. It'll be interesting to see how the pace develops, because other horses, including High Camp as well as Confessional, have potential speed. The only way he's winning this race is if you have the big speed track they had, I think, last year, and he somehow gets the lead. I mean, he didn't even finish ahead of Soldier and Diplomat, who had a wider trip than him. And Soldier and Diplomat, I think, is finishing the Rebel now. To be fair, he got left and he got caught wide. He never really had a chance to wait to be run. I don't think he's a distancer. I think he's a good horse. I think we could see him in the Woody Stevens in Saratoga. But the best thing that could happen to him would be to run about 50er and Bob immediately start running him in sprints, in my opinion.
1 turn, mile and an eighth, by the way. Yep. He'll have the rail, and we'll have Flavien Prat.
That and Belmont are probably the only tracks in America you can do that, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any others.
Will Walden with High Camp, who is coming off a maiden win at Gulfstream at 7/8, will try a route for the first time.
He doesn't have a pedigree that's screaming long to me in Instagram, but He beat a good horse in Growth Equity, who was making his first start of a layoff last time and has run well for Will Walden. So, I don't know. We'll see. He's a homebred for OXO. He's not impossible. He's certainly going to have a say in the outcome in the sense that he's going to be forward. I'll tell you the horse that I am inclined to want to bet in here is Incredible. Is it Incredibolt?
Yeah.
For Riley Mott. This horse ran good races. A 2-year-old at a Street Sense win was a nice win. He was so bad in the Holy Bull that I want to give him one more chance. And if he's even 6 or 7 to 1, he's 10 to 1 morning line, I'll take a chance with him.
Back-to-back really good efforts at Churchill Downs, including a grade 3 victory. He's got to be better than what we saw last start.
He was so bad last time. I mean, it's hard. The question is, how much better is he going to be?
Here's the leaderboard. Paladin topping that list. The Puma off that Tampa Bay Derby win in the second slot. And then we see Potente up there, one of several for Bob Baffert. Does Bob Baffert have a horse who can win this year's Kentucky Derby?
Well, I thought Potente ran a respectable race. You made an interesting point earlier today. We were all talking about it. The horse who was second was 67 to 1, which always makes you wonder. But the race got an 89 buyer, so he's a credible horse, a $2.4 million purchase. I thought you mentioned to me that Cherokee Nation, who just broke his maiden with a 100 buyer, could be an interesting one for him as well. I wonder if Bob is pointing the Santa Anita Derby or if he'll ship him to another race. So listen, discounting Bob Baffert for the Derby is a dangerous thing to do. Right now, though, he's at best sort of on the fringes of having a contender. Is that fair?
Yes. And look, for Potente, 89 buyers still needs to step forward. That was his second career start and his first time going around a ground off a sprint.
I agree. I think Potente could be a good horse. He could be a real player. Right. I mean, he's a little slower, but, let's just talk about Renegade, I think, got like a 92 or 93 buyer. Paladin got figures around there. And these are the horses that are favored right now. It's a wide open race right now because there's no clear leader. The fast race was the Fountain of Youth.
And here's that finish in the San Felipe for Potente. So 6 furlong sprint debut, he wins. Trying graded stakes company, Derby prep at a mile and 16th, third start number 2. It's a big ask. And Robusta, that 67-01 shot for Doug O'Neill, looks like he's going to win this race, but here comes Potente.
Yeah, I think you had to be impressed with him able to get this done. Closing like that, he didn't get loose in the lead. So I think he's a player. He's probably Bob's likeliest horse now.
Certainly, yeah, could move forward and he'll get another chance. Let's go to Maggie. Your thoughts on this question?
Yeah, to throw out Bob Baffert in Triple Crown races would be insane because he's Bob Baffert and he's, definitely one of the leaders as far as capturing these 3 races. But as far as a Kentucky Derby horse this year, I have not seen anything from the horses that we've seen participate in those Kentucky Derby trials be of any consequence. If anything, Potente looks to be the best so far, and I don't think he's the best of the 3-year-olds that we've seen by any means. So now sometimes the best horse doesn't win the Derby. I obviously know there's a lot of luck that's involved, but he hasn't necessarily demonstrated yet that there's the running style, where he's going to be able to steal it or something like that. So I think Butane is a sprinter. I've thought that from the get-go, so I don't love him coming up in the Virginia Derby. But, Greg, the fact of the matter is that we still have a lot of big preps to go. The Florida Derby, Arkansas Derby, Wood Memorial, Bluegrass, it goes on and on, the Santa Anita Derby. So there are a lot of question marks that still need to be answered, and I'm sure Bob Baffert, he might have one of those answers waiting in the wings.
Certainly could. And look, someone in one of those big preps, you would think someone's going to emerge and stamp themselves as the horse to beat.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all looking forward to seeing what the first 2 finishers did in the Fountain of Youth. Now, Chief Wallaby for Belmont was making just his second start. So I'm not eager to be taking its 4th start in the Kentucky Derby. And people say, Justified did it. Well, I know, but a lot of horses have failed, like Curlin. He was pretty good, right? So more have failed than have succeeded. But that was a fast race. Can those horses come back and run those kind of races again? Yeah. I think they're both very, very good, the horses. And to me, they were the 2 most impressive horses because they didn't just run a faster fig. They ran a significantly faster fig than we've seen so far. Yeah. So we'll see. But there's a lot of races, as Maggie said. I totally agree with everything Maggie said.
We're going to get back to Oaklawn. We are 4 minutes away from race 2. Was the favorite to kick things off. Big Tech in the opener. This one a 12,500 starter allowance sprint as we go to Mig and Megan.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. And we're going to jump right into this post parade. A pretty hard-hitting group here in this starter allowance. The one horse, Ravenstown.
Clear speed from the inside. He'll have some company on the front end, but does make sense coming off of a win.
The two horse, V-Day to the Tenacious.
Absolutely no form that's made me want to bet this Ohio bred as of late.
Very appropriately named horse in this day and age. Pray for Peace.
Continues sprinting, and this horse ran well last time out, and a tracker in a race that has some speed up front.
Jackman, the venerable Trackman, 10 for 23 here.
Loves Oaklawn. Have my doubts in this race for this horse.
5 Cape Trafalgar with Joey Belmont.
Kind of an underneath type play. He typically runs better fresh, and he is second off of that layoff.
This is where I'm going to land, Megan, with the 6 Boat Song. I think he might sit the right trip.
Really, I think you're right in that regard. He, to me, is an overlay at 9-2.
And then on the outside, the 7 Lightning Struck.
A rider switch there. Amir Mendoza gets here versus Pray for Peace. Ran an outlier fig last time out to win.
And we're going to take a look at the 4-horse. Jackman, your favorite. He is in raging form against arguably easier last time. Changes barns once again. But you got to respect this horse. 17 for 57 lifetime, 10 for 23 here at Oaklawn.
Yeah, he's run great. I mean, last time out, though, that was a terrible field. We saw Kunshan Bridge, who finished behind him, come back and do no running yesterday. And I just... he's claimed off of I don't like the barn that he's claimed from. I don't think it's pretty easy to claim from those type of barns where they put him in for a specific tag for a reason. Then he was claimed off Steve Asmussen. And he is in good form right now. We'll see if he can continue that, because I don't think this is an overwhelmingly tough starter. It seems like the right field. I just have my doubts. And when I went over this card, he was a favorite that I was firmly against. But, I mean, he could easily get the better of me. I'm dubious.
See, I like where he looks in the post parade. When I talk about horses getting framed up, this is what I'm talking about. You see almost the angles of the rider's arms down to his hands, to through the reins to the horse's mouth. This horse is framed up beautifully. He's 8 years old. You got to love this horse. Win, lose, or draw as your favorite. He's the kind of horse to me that is a throwback, like a creme de la fête. People in New York will know what I'm talking about, who just shows up, does his job, and at 8 years old, he's still in good form.
Close to $600,000 in earnings. He's a cool customer.
Here's the horse I landed on, the 6 Boat Song. I just thought that there's enough speed in here that he's not slow, but he's not going to be a part of the pace, and maybe the race just shapes up well for him.
He's ultra consistent. A lot of these horses have a 1 race or 2 good races sprinkled in, and maybe that outlier, but this horse has been running decent races that absolutely fit here, coming off of a victory where coming off a 3rd place effort behind Lightning Struck, who he faces again in here. That was first off of a bit of time away. Again, he's one that can sometimes get slower to start. He doesn't break all that well, and match that with a wider draw. I'm a little dubious, but he does have some speed, and I'm hoping that he'll trip out. He's kind of that closing, sustained run coming from behind.
And you were on the 3-horse, Pray for Peace, who's also making a nice impression. He's with the pony, but he's framing up beautifully this gray son of Liam's Map.
He sometimes gets into trouble in the start. Sometimes he'll kind of bump around, but I think he just made a lot of sense to me in this group. He's got some really strong form lines that's consistent if you take out that 2-back effort where he was bumped and just never really got into a rhythm. But other than that, last time out, he tracked off of the pace. He was able to just a decisive victory that day. I think he gets another solid setup just off of the pace and breaks cleanly. He just, to me, made the most sense, had the most consistent form potentially against a group that's been a bit inferior at the level. So I liked him in this group. We shall see. But if you're looking at just raw figures and form, there are 4 or 5 horses in this race that could win.
Yeah, I really wouldn't be surprised, like you said, if several of these could win, including the one, Ravenstown. Now, this horse has speed. Dan Ward, terrific horseman. We saw him win the stake over the weekend with Majestic Oops, last weekend, I should say. Such a capable horseman. It kind of simplifies things for his rider, Francisco Arrieta, from the rail. He's just got to use that speed and go.
Go forward, and he's got the speed. He gets rider switch from Luis Saez to Francisco Arrieta. And last time out, Louis did a great job managing the other speeds in that race. He didn't send him to the lead. He was able to kind of time that win out perfectly, because this horse does not win very often. That was the first time he's won since 2024, 2023. So I am incredibly hesitant to bet him back because I just think he got the perfect storm last time out and doesn't seem to do that very often. And he's got to deal with some more speed and pressure in here.
You know, briefly, let's talk a little bit more about your selection of 3, Pray for Peace. Now, he has kind of habitually gotten off in, I won't say a tangle, but bump start, barred it early. To me, that speaks of a horse that one of a couple of reasons a horse breaks slowly. One, they're weak behind. I don't see that with this horse. He looks great. He warmed up beautifully, framed up beautifully. Or they're a little bit nervous, a little bit antsy in the gate, and they're always shuffling their feet. You've got a 1,000-pound animal that needs to be square to break cleanly. So if they're shuffling their feet because they're anxious, that split second they have to reset their feet and jump, they're not going to break as sharp as everybody else. So it's important with horses like this, keep an eye on him in the gate, not just his head, but his feet, and that'll tell you more about how he's acting as in the gate and how potentially he could break. Well, we're right on top of post time. Horses are loading up. Race 2, Matt Dinnerman with the call.
Boat Song about to walk forward. Lightning Struck to the outside post. Waiting for Lightning Struck to come up goes Zip. We're ready to go. And we're off. Cape Trafalgar broke outwards at the start. Boat Song got bumped into him and drops to the back of the field. Pray for Peace, the gray horse on the lead. Clipping Heels Ravenstown had to steady there and clipped heels when in tight. Has recovered to race in second, but Pray for Peace has got the lead here by a touch more than a length. Jackman out of that trouble, taking second. Ravenstown on restraint, running in third. Then Boat Song, Lightning Struck to his inside. Gap of 2. V-Day to the Tenacious at the back of the field with Cape Trafalgar as they sail into the far turn. There goes Jackman, sticks ahead in front. Inside Pray for Peace right there matching him. These two round the far turn with a 2-length edge. Ravenstown still in third. Lightning Struck, Boat Song, both runners under pressure. Cape Trafalgar now second to last. V-Day to the Tenacious at the back as they wheel for the judge here. Outside Jackman, inside it's the gray, Pray for Peace. They're down the lane together. Jackman, Pray for Peace side by side with a furlong to go. And Ravenstown trying to pick him up here. Pray for Peace got the lead, extends stride and puts away Jackman with a 16th to go. Pray for Peace, David Cabrera to win it here by about 4 lengths coming to the finish. Jackman holding off Ravenstown for the second spot. V-Day to the Tenacious, checked in fourth.
Well, it was your selection, Megan. The 3, Pray for Peace, broke very alertly today. Not his usual MO, but watch how he leaves the gate running. I mean, he really left with run on his mind. Gray horse emerging first.
He really did. He showed way more speed than I envisioned. We're going to take a look right here.
Made
Pay attention to the 1 and the 3.
May have crossed over a little too quick. You saw he clipped his heels there and stumbled a bit. This drone shot will give us a better idea if he actually took all that horse's ground, and there might be a call for an inquiry. You see David Cabrera, he's angling over with his reins. Now there's the rail, he comes. I got a bad feeling about this one, Megan.
Yeah.
He kind of put him in a very tough spot. It was only for a stride, but you've got to think that the stewards are going to have to take a look at this.
We haven't had an official inquiry just yet, but this is an absolute, you have to look at this. And I do think that horse was just really keen as well early. He's a speedster. We've mentioned the number 1 Ravenstown being that forwardly placed speed horse. And I think this perhaps altered a bit of the result late.
Well, the thing you got to worry about, and you saw David Cabrera, I think, was trying to do the right thing. You outbroke the speed. You want to take it away from him. But he might have just come in a little bit quickly. And the fact that Ravenstown was beaten in neck for second, you could make the case it cost him a placing. As of right now, there's no inquiry, but he did clip that horse's
heels. It just got on. Objection's now on.
An ejection is up, but not a steward's inquiries, guys. We'll keep you posted as to what's going on here at Oaklawn Park.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that as we get back to New York. Race 3, 1-turn mile for the non-winners of 2 Life condition. And another even money favorite here, Flavian Pratt for the Rick Dutrow Jr. barn. Maldini, who we both like, short price.
Yeah, I think she's going to try to wire the field oh, I'm sorry. Thinking of the next race. Thank you. I agree. I mean, you and I both thought this horse was probably just the best horse in the race. Now, I don't have a problem with somebody who wants sequential to try to wire the field. And I don't think he ran terribly last time, but it's just feeling like that big figure 2 back for Sequential is an outlier. And overall, I thought this was a big trainer switch going to Rick Dutrow.
Yeah, first off the claim for one of the best trainers on the circuit as we look at Good Bally.
Somebody just made a huge bet on the 5, probably about 8 to 10,000, because as you can see, the board just got very skewed. Excuse me.
Here's Instant Success to kick off the post break.
Just tough to make a real case, but I thought you made an interesting point. This horse could show speed inside of Sequential.
Yeah, might try and make life difficult. For this one here, here's Jose Lezcano trying to make it 3 straight.
If he doesn't, Sequential could be in a position to wire the field, so we'll see. The odds are obviously going to even out.
Here's Come Full Circle, who got slammed out of the gate last start and missed by a nose.
Yeah, I mean, this is a horse that arguably could have won each of his last 2 starts. Is off the claim, gets a rider switch. I'm off him, and I've been betting him, so maybe he'll win today.
Small change Jeep, Manny Franco.
To be fair, this horse's figs, other than the last race where he didn't run at all, are good enough to compete here. It's a huge price.
Here's Maldini, 3 to 5 now.
Yeah, I mean, it's evened out. Somebody bet $5,000. It wasn't that big a bet. You and I like him, but we're not betting at this price.
No.
I thought he raced 2 back will win this race.
Either of the last 2 would.
Yeah, but particularly like the dry track, non-mile and 8th race better.
Good Bally, huge price here.
Tough to make a case, an excellent to racehorse too.
All right, so Maldini, not only strong form, you get Pratt aboard now, the 2-time reigning Eclipse Award winner as we go to Maggie.
Yeah, you get Pratt aboard to hurt your price. As Maldini here, look, I get the appeal. I totally get it on paper. But the fact of the matter is this horse doesn't look like the prohibitive favorite, at least physically. If anything, I preferred him 2 starts ago when he made his first start here in New York in this condition and running second behind Kavanaugh. I don't know. He just looks really long and wintry in his coat. His weight could be better. He can win. I get it. He probably will win, but he's just not for me. Whereas I do prefer the appearance of Sequential. Does have that early speed. Ambition came back to win that race. Come out of that race to win with an 85 buyer. So I know I saw the same thing Andy did when it comes to his maiden score 2 back. It feels like an aberrational number for him, but honestly, against this field, I preferred the way he looked over many, many others. Now, bombs away here with the longest shot on the board in number 6, Good Bally. I know I might be crazy for suggesting this horse. Sorry, it's getting hard to talk because it's a little bit cold out here. But his one Ellis Park try for 50, going a mile in the dirt, does make him a major player. Will he ever find that again? I'm not sure. But for Ronnie Breed here, he doesn't want any part of going short. He definitely wants to go longer. And he just looks really good overall. Like a 53 to 1 shot that looks more like a maybe 13 to 1 shot when you factor in form here. So maybe one you can throw in underneath, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. 4 to 5. On Maldini as we're a minute to post here in this third. It's been a very chalky beginning to this Friday card. Let's take a look at Maldini in action. This was back on January 16th, 2 back. This was at the mile distance.
Right. I mean, I think we both good one. We both feel like Kavanaugh's run 2 good races since then. If he ran back to this race, he would win, and I stand by that. Now, Maggie, and we obviously have great respect for her, especially when she has sort of knocks on horses at short prices. Maggie has some concerns about this horse. So, that scares me a little bit. If he runs back this race, though, he's going to win here, in my opinion. There was a DQ.
Change made at Oaklawn, yeah. 4-1-3-2, new order of finish. We'll get back to Mig and Megan on that. But post time coming up for this third that kicks off this pick 6 on our Friday card. And, we'll see how things go. I had a hard time seeing it. It looks like this whole card could be pretty formful, doesn't it?
I agree. You and I like Romantic Dinner the next race. I think we both like Jackson's Dixie, who's going to be a huge favorite in race 5. I did not pick Mr. Skylight, who was the worst to be his favorite. I took Disarmed, and I think you took the 2 Paradise Valley.
Yeah.
I think we like Cloudy Chance.
We both do.
It's going to be similar price to the 6 Irish Jackson. The last race is probably the most open race. You liked Emerald Forest, will be an okay price, and I like Enduring Spirit. They'll be slightly better prices, but for the most part, yeah, I agree. This card looks fairly chalky. It doesn't always have to play that way, but at least I don't think either of us have big ideas for the most part against a lot of short prices.
Yeah, it's even if an upset or two happens along the way, not looking at something massive potential.
Right.
We'll see what happens.
I'm with you.
Here's Sequential. Jose Lezcano trying to make it 3 straight to kick off this card. He should be in front leading the way. Can he keep things going here for Linda Rice, who he teamed up with to win the opener on Antietam? 3rd, start of the pick 6. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the call.
Maldini. Good volley. Good volley. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Squeezed a little at the start, was come full circle. The speed is to the inside of Instant Success. Is on the engine. Instant Success right to the front is up by a quick length and a half. Sequentials now going to be a stalking 2nd. Tristan behind them comes Maldini in 3rd. To the far outside, that's Good Bali is now in 4th. Small Change Jeep, tight hold there in 5th. And after the beginning, come full circle. We'll have to pass them all as they work up the backstretch. 23.51 for that opening quarter mile, and Instant Success at a big number has the lead. Sequentials right there in 2nd, rushing up, come full circle. Did not want to be behind rivals, is now tugging at Christopher Elliott, is in a very tight spot here at the rail, is going to back out of it. Instant Success is still holding that advantage, hugs the rail. Sequentials in 2nd, nowhere to go, come full circle in 3rd. Out wider, here comes the run from Maldini, is now 3 wide. 4 wide going to be Good Bali. Small Change Jeep is the trailer, still tightly packed, 46.67, a half-mile time. Instant Success has the lead. No excuses. Sequential is ranging up. Here comes Sequential. Nowhere to go. Come full circle. Small Change Jeep. Both under snug holds right in behind the leader as they reach the top of the stretch. Sequential's trying to sprint away. Come full circle. Still in some traffic. Small Change Jeep down the center of the racetrack. Maldini on the grandstand side. Sequential's trying to get away. A furlong left to go. Small Change Jeep is in pursuit. Same can be said for Maldini. Maldini on the grandstand side. Small Change Jeep in between horses. Sequential still battles on. These 3 down to the line together. Small Change Jeep, Maldini. Maldini won it. Maldini over Small Change Jeep in that photo with Sequential. Then came Come Full Circle in 1 minute 37.03 seconds.
Maldini and Flavien Prat had to work to get this horse across the wire first. Does though at 1-2.
Yeah, if you bet on Small Change Jeep, you have a right to be annoyed at 15-1 because that's a tough beat. I mean, I actually think even though Maldini was won, I tend to think Maggie wasn't wrong. I mean, he had an absolutely perfect trip in this race and needed every single inch of the stretch to get up. He certainly didn't win like a 1-2 shot should. So while he won the race, kind of underperformed. And, you know, you had made a great point earlier when you pointed out that you didn't think Sequential had to be loose, that the 1 could go. And I think once the 1 went, it really did take a bit of an advantage away from Sequential. And it sort of evened the playing field from a dynamic standpoint in Maldini's favor. So not only the big favor, so he won, but he won by the barest of noses. And I feel for you if you bet Small Change Jeep, who was too big a price, way too big a price.
Yeah, 15-1. Never should have been that price, but just misses here. 1-2 favorite Maldini the victory. 5-4, 2-3 as Pratt is on the board for the Rick Dutrow Jr. barn. Let's go back to Hot Springs with Mig and Megan. Change made in race 2.
Yes, Greg, the 3-horse Pray for Peace, who was decidedly best today, was disqualified for crossing over without sufficient clearance. We're going to show you the head-on. I want you to pay attention to 2 particular things. The gray horse, Pray for Peace, David Cabrera, he's angling over. Look at where his head is pointed, towards the inside. So the rider's steering in that direction. I want you to keep an eye on the left leg of the 1, Ravenstown, who was outbroken by the 3 when he clips his heels. We can go forward with this. And when a horse clips heels, a lot of times they will stumble and fall. He stumbles. Watch his left front leg. This horse caught himself with his left front leg after clipping with his right front leg. An incredible athletic feat by this horse, but there was not sufficient clearance. David Cabrera angled over too sharply. You have a rail there, and you're going to really see here that he wasn't clear. And if you outbreak the other speed or speed horse and you want to clear him, you can't start slowing him down as you're angling over. You got to keep going forward when you're angling over. You can't jam him like that. This isn't roller derby. It's a shame. I believe Pray for Peace was best. Ravenstown did well to rally on for third, and the venerable Jackman was awarded the victory, but he put himself in a position to be awarded the victory.
He did. He was out of the mess we kind of just saw. And the problem with it is the number 3, Pray for Peace, isn't typically a speedster. So when you're going forth with a horse that's more of a tactical horse that you're wanting to be more aggressive with, it maybe subconsciously you're thinking, I got to get him over. I got to make this more quicker process so I don't have to use this horse as much against the likes of the one who was an intended speed horse. So maybe just not the right dynamics in that race. And it's unfortunate because Pray for Peace was best, but you got to give it to Jackman, who I believe just surpassed now $600,000 in earnings.
Just a venerable war horse, a warrior. This is one I'm sure David Cabrera would like to have back. He could have cleared him if he had just continued to go forward. You're on the parkway in your car. You don't change lanes slowing down.
Right.
You accelerate to be able to clear a car to change lanes. He didn't. He could have accelerated a bit more. It was a mistake. It cost the horse the victory. And obviously, if you're a bettor, you're frustrated. But I'm sure the connections are frustrated as well. And like I said, I'm sure David Cabrera wishes he could have that one back. Guys, we're going to take a quick timeout. A lot of action going on here at Oaklawn Park. We'll be back with more America's Day at the Races.
The day is here when legends are made and anything is possible. The 2026 Arkansas Derby, where the prize is $1.5 million and a shot at glory at the Kentucky Derby.
Here's Sandman threatening to run a big one. And Sandman, he's run his A race and he gets a confidence booster heading to Kentucky.
Come witness history. Plan your stay today at Oaklawn Hot Springs and come join the fun.
Prince of Monaco's too good for Moose, an impressive winner of the best pal. Miramondi's all hot, but Prince of Monaco too good.
Prince of Monaco, standing at Claiborne Farm.
This winter, give the gift of racing with Naira Bets gift cards. Share your passion with friends and family or instantly fund your account. Choose the amount and redeem online. Find gift cards under the promotions tab at NairaBets.com. The Belmont Stakes Racing Festival returns for the final time to historic Saratoga Racecourse. Don't miss the Belmont Festival at Saratoga. June 3rd through 7th. Secure your place in history at BelmontStakes.com.
Lakeway is third as they turn for home. It's still Serena's Song. Heavenly Prize cutting into her lead as they come down to the final furlong. Still hand-ridden beneath Gary Stevens. Serena's Song, the lead's down to a length and a half. Heavenly Prize coming hard, but the wire's coming fast, and Serena's Song still holding on. Heavenly Prize closing late. Here's the wire, and it is Serena's Song who holds on.
Yeah, as we reported on the program yesterday, Serena's Song, 11-time Grade 1 winner, former champion, 3-year-old filly, passed away at the age of 34 earlier this week from the infirmities of old age.
Well, I mean, to live to 34, she had a great life. And, you know, I think we often throw around the word great too much in this game. She was a great horse. She had a great career, and she was a great horse. You see her beating Heavenly Prize, who was a tremendous talent. Even Lakeway, it wasn't as good as she was before, you know, probably getting injured earlier in his 3-year-old year. She was still a tremendous filly or mare. And this horse, I mean, what a horse she was.
18 career wins, 17 of those wins.
Graded Stakes.
Or graded stakes wins.
Yeah. She lost in the Breeders' Cup juvenile fillies to Flanders, who unfortunately was injured in the race, but Flanders was an incredible, incredible talent who just never got recognized as much because she didn't run after her 2-year-old year. But Serena Song took on the boys. She ran all the biggest races. That's amazing what you said, Greg. She had a maiden win and 17 graded stakes, and that's Wayne. And she really flourished for Wayne, and just an incredible, incredible filly and mare.
Beat Tejano Run, the boys, and the Jim Beam with a 114 buyer. Was the first filly to win the Haskell with a 110 buyer speed figure. She's incredible.
I mean, she was running those kind of figures early in her 3-year-old season. You know, I mean, that's why when people were saying Sovereignty was an all-time great, how I got annoyed, because in the sort of ridiculous Field and Travers, he ran a figure like that. And he's a tremendous horse. I'm not knocking Sovereignty, but look at Serena's Song. She'd have given him more than a tussle, believe me, and she probably would have beaten him up until that point. That's how good she was. She was a tremendous horse. They just don't make horses like that anymore. You think I'm crazy?
Okay. She was very good.
I mean, she was amazing.
She was amazing.
And she ran every 10 seconds. It's like every time you turned around, she was running in a race.
Artemis Sound. Sorry, Maldini. I turned the page. Pratt on the board for Rick Dutrow Jr. At odds on to take the third, and form continuing to hold here, but this one had to work.
Ain't exactly winning like a 1-2 shot should. Come Full Circle. I feel bad for Come Full Circle because he's been a bit unlucky and he didn't get the best of trips in there. He's probably a little better going shorter anyway. Maybe going longer isn't great for his kick, but he got unlucky in there, and Maldini won. But man, at $3.18, this was hard fought. Good pick by you and I, though. I thought really a lot of credit
for the victory. $8.95 pick 3. Lean pickings through the first 3.
I had one of them on top. I mean, you know.
Race 4 starts the late pick 5. Allowance optional claiming sprint, 6 furlongs. Pratt looks dangerous here again. Inside speed.
Yeah, the early money's a little funny with Always Practical opening up at a short price. We'll see. We'll see how they go. I didn't look at the multis.
1 of 2 for Linda Rice, Always Practical. The 3, and then favorite. Will not be swayed, the 4, but yeah. Romantic Dancer looks pretty tough here.
I agree. I think that she also has 28 days since her last race, so I think she's going to be tough to beat.
Well, you heard it here first. Sovereignty would have been beaten by Serena Song.
I'll tell you what, earlier in her career, yes.
We're going to take a timeout.
It was 110 buyers. Was he running?
To Hot Springs when we return on our Fox Sports 2 coverage.
$1,600,000, thank you.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Charge, it is pouring it on, winning the Dwyer by the length of the stretch.
Sargent wins it convincingly in this Grade 2 Suburban.
A provision in a bill passed this summer reduces the tax deduction for wagering losses from 100% to 90%. This unfair change would tax horse players on a percentage of their losses, could cost over $1 billion in handle, and threaten thousands of jobs in the racing industry. That's why the NTRA is fighting to pass the Wager Act, a new bill that would restore the deduction to 100%. Tell Congress to pass the Wager Act. Visit ntra.com/wager.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. And Megan, I will tell you, from having visited there, you can feel the hallowed ground, the history, that great, rich history of Claiborne Farm.
I spent 4 or 5 years in Kentucky and just, I went to Claiborne, Hillendale, a lot of those farms, and they're just, you get spoiled there. You don't realize just what incredible scenery, what you really live around. So I miss it, but I will say I love being here and working with the MIG.
Oh, Lexington, Kentucky, beautiful place, birthplace of many of the great champions over the years. We got $30,000 claimers here going. $32,000 claimers going 1 1/16, our first two-turn event of the day, Megan. And I think it's a pretty wide-open affair. I wound up on the 3 rando. Where did you wind up?
I rounded up on the 6, my side hustle for Scott Young, who is just not doing all that great this meet, but this is such a difficult race for me because I don't love anyone in here. There lacks speed. I thought the inside horse could get loose, but I also preferred others. It was a tough one for me.
Yeah, I really thought, like a lot of the races here at Oaklawn, they're very competitive. They're very hard to handicap. But if you can mine that nugget of gold, you usually get paid because they're big fields. We're going to get right into the post break. Kind of an unusual circumstance. David Cabrera disqualified in the last race on Pray for Peace. Trainer Chris Hartman got to come right back in the next race riding for Chris Hartman. Sometimes not the most comfortable situation in the paddock.
Right now, it's almost as the tables is turned. One dozen diamonds you'll see here. He's the main speed of this race, so he's kind of in the opposite position of what happened in the last race.
He is the main speed, and now he's got the rail. The 2 ain't no shaking kid.
Just it drops in class, but this Iowa bred has not fared against open company.
This is where I landed on the 3 rando. Steve Asmussen having such a great meet. Eric Asmussen riding in terrific form. I just thought he made some sense.
Comes off of freshening, though was pretty decisively beaten from my side hustle last time out.
Here's the 4, Esperanza Spirit.
Another one that would you have to really make a case for an Iowa bred.
The favorite, the 5, Low Key.
I'm familiar with this horse. I've never really warmed up to her for our colleague at Tom Amos.
Here's your selection, My Side Hustle.
Yeah, she's coming off of a lot tougher tries. She makes sense in this group, and she is a closer, though. Doesn't have a lot of speed.
And on the outside, a big price on My Woman.
Yeah, just hasn't really won a whole lot. 1 for 6 at Oaklawn, and another that doesn't have any speed from that outside draw.
Well, let's take a look at the 5, Low Key. Tom Amos, our friend and colleague, does such a good job. He's also taking that, or she, excuse me, taking that drop in class.
She is, and as we look at this race, I believe is her race, is it September the 1st, Evan? Here at Saratoga, it looks like Saratoga.
Yep, mile in Saratoga.
Mile at Saratoga, where she was second, ran well, closing pretty slow pace that day. She was pretty game. But it seems as if she's kind of fallen away from that. That came at that mile distance, and then she just hasn't quite had that same, despite having the speed figures that make up admirably against this group. Her last race at Fairgrounds, which is the one I just didn't quite like at all. I mean, I will say, though, she was stuck 3 to 4 wide throughout. She was trying to close against a slower pace, but she just didn't have a whole lot of response late. She's also one, going through my notes in Saratoga over the summer, she is a lighter framed filly that doesn't carry a whole lot of flesh. She's real kind of angular behind, as you'll see on your screen. She kind of looks more like that extended route type distance, which she also hasn't quite fared. I don't know, Mig. I know she makes sense in terms of her overall resume compared to these, but I still have my questions about her.
And closers need racing luck as well. Rando, more of a closing type, but I think maybe potentially could be slightly more involved. And again, I can't ever discount when a barn is going as well as Steve Asmussen's barn. His son Eric riding so well with so much confidence. And, I make a lot of warm-ups. I like horses with big warm-ups and stuff. Steve's horses never leave the pony. They're always warmed up with the pony. They keep them a little on the quieter side.
They do, and I think that it's also in the mindset of not having too much expenditure but prior to a race and keeping them more settled. As you'll see Steven, his assistant Darren Fleming, Scott Blasi, they're all on ponies in the morning. They're all very hands-on on the track in the morning, so it's kind of a routine for them at this point to stay with that pony.
And they're all such true horsemen, really. I mean the kind of horse people that I admire and respect. They do such good work. Let's go take a look at your selection, My Side Hustle, who is another one that's more of a deep closer.
That was my main issue. I really wish this horse had some more speed. But if you visit the 3-back race at Remington, where, again, My Side Hustle was just in way too deep of waters in her last 2 first-level allowance tries, she did face Rando, who she comes back again here at 5-2. This horse is at 7-2. And My Side Hustle was also closing that day off of a pretty slow pace alongside Rando, who was also closing. And this horse just decisively outran her late in stretch. She just completely bested her that day. So I'm betting My Side Hustle, cognizant of the fact that low key could just be better than these two in general. But I liked the visual of the Wayside Hustle ran at a more reasonable level as they both take a drop in class.
Real quick before we head back to the desk in New York and race 4 there, the 1-horse Dozen Diamonds is going to be very loose on the lead here. The more I look at this race, she's going to be very tough to reel in. David Cabrera looking to kind of redeem himself with Chris Hartman and the fans out there. But let's head back to New York and the desk with Greg and Andy.
Mig, thank you. We are 9 minutes away, race 4 in this 6-furlong sprint. As we take a look at Artemis Sound coming off the bench. Haven't seen this one since Saratoga last summer for Todd Pletcher. Amazingly 6-1 on the board right now. 2-1 morning line.
Yeah, I'm looking at multi-race bets, and it feels like the 3 and 5 are going to be similar prices by post time. But the way they're betting it right now, Artemis Sound off the layoff is totally dead on the board. The 1, Romantic Dancer, is likely to be about 4 to 5 by post time.
All right, Maggie, give us the report card here off the bench for this 5-year-old mare.
Yeah, at face value on the board, she is the longest shot up there as of now with Artemis Sound. Now, we saw her running in some decent races during the summertime up at Saratoga and even here at Aqueduct. You see Alieska finishing second that day, come back and win with an 89. Ragtime, she was very good at that point in time. So I do feel like she's meeting maybe a little lesser company, but the fact of the matter is she did absolutely no running in her last start, and even the time before that, she just was not very good. Now, obviously, there may have been an issue that arose that may have been brewing, and so hence why she's been away for 7 months now. Honestly, there had been times, when she came back in February, April, May, that I didn't really love the way she looked. She just looked a bit weaker across her top line. And then she just continued to get better with each subsequent start. But she comes back off the bench today, and she actually looks incredibly strong for her. So I actually like the way she appears. Now, ultimately, maybe she'll just need that proverbial race. But she has shown the ability to win, off the bench. She did it from October to February of 24 to 25, and she did win first time out. So there's an ability to fire fresh here for Artemis Sound. So we'll see how she fares. At least you're going to get a decent price to see if she does. Greg?
Maggie, thank you. Yeah, 6 minutes away, race 4. 6-1 for the 5-year-old return. Let's take a look at April 10th from last year, 4 starts ago. In a 4-length win, she went back-to-back starts here.
Yeah, when she was in good form, she was running Beyer figures in the mid-80s, which is making her the horse to beat. The problem is she tailed off badly after that at Saratoga, better horse or not, and now we haven't seen her for 9 months. Todd Pletcher does have good numbers from a percentage standpoint with his horses coming off 5 to 9 month layoffs, so he can bring them back and get them running. And she should be stalking the 1 Romantic Dinner. Right now, she's just a little chilly on the board, but I picked her second. I think she can certainly win this race.
Don't understand the 6-1. Yeah.
Well, sometimes you understand it better after the race, right?
Meanwhile, here's the one Pratt will be aboard. Romantic Dancer, speed from the rail. We mentioned at the top of the show, last start had faced Bam's Bliss Kiss, who's won 4 straight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she ran badly in defeat because Ross Dorse is just in raging form. And, you look at, she was engaged in some somewhat pace battles, 2 and 3 back. She was a little bit against the track, 2 back when it was a good rail and she was outside. She was off a bad rail on January 15th, but she's sort of working a heavy workload, right? She runs January 2nd. She comes back 13 days later. Then she comes back 21 days later. Then she comes back 8 days later. Now she has 28 days off, so she's had a little bit of time since her last race. And I think from a dynamic standpoint overall, she's in the best spot she's been in yet. But she is a favorite, and she's going to be shorter than 8-5, who's coming off 4 straight second-place finishes, though never losing as the favorite.
8-5, top choice on the board right now as they come up the walkway, and we get set for our post-parade. We will see her first with Pratt looking to go back-to-back here on this Friday card.
Yeah, and, Flavian is aggressive with a clean break. She's supposed to be the speed.
Next door, one who's going to be at the back of the pack likely here in Tentious.
But she's in good form for Dave Duggan, and wet track or not last time, she ran very well, coming off her best career effort.
There's always practical, 1 of 2 for Linda Rice.
Yeah, I thought she took advantage of the race sort of falling apart in the late stages. That was probably the best race she ever ran, so at least from that standpoint, she's coming off her best effort.
Stablemate here will not be swayed.
Yeah, she's probably the lesser of the 2 Lindas, and the board reflects that.
And here's Artemis Sound off the bench. That price coming down 4-1.
Yeah, I think she probably ends up vying for second choice with the number 3.
That really looks strong, warming up. Back to Oaklawn. Mile and a 16th here. Pick 5 begins in this third race. This $32,000 claiming race. Non-winners of 3 life. Tom Amis with the favorite. That is the 5, Low Key. Serengeti Empress Silks of Joel Politi. Teamed up to win a Kentucky Oaks together, and this one taking a big drop.
Yeah, that was Tom's favorite race.
It is. Great feature. That is one of my favorite race features.
Well, particularly because we actually do like Tom. You like him more than I do. I mean, I tolerate him. You actually like him. He somewhat tolerates me.
Yeah, there you go. New woman. We'll see if Low Key can get it done. The 5 is the favorite for Tom Amis. Ramon Vasquez rides. Let's go to Matt Dinnerman.
We're ready to go. And we're off. Rando wins the start. Esperanza's Spirit broke alertly, takes back. Here's Dozen Diamonds coming out of sprint races, is on the lead, naturally quickest here. Rando will sit second, My Woman into third as they go into the turn. Ain't No Shakin' Kid, scraping pain in the early stages. Esperanza's Spirit, the stablemate, the gray right behind. And then comes Low Key, My Side Hustle, and the 3 path at the back. Onto the back stretch. They're approaching it anyway. And Dozen Diamonds has an arrow edge here. Here's Rando to move up to come and challenge. These 2 a neck apart as they swing up the backside. They've pulled 2 clear of Ain't No Shakin' Kid, who's into third. My Woman right behind, a half length back. Length to Esperanza's Spirit. Loki on the inside. My Side Hustle is 3 wide. 5 lengths from tip to tail. Down the back stretch they go. 2 runners virtually together now. Dozen Diamonds inside, Rando outside. There's still 2 ahead. Ain't No Shakin' Kid in third. A half length still to My Woman. And then the last 3 in a line. Low Key, Esperanza's Spirit, My Side Hustle as they go into the far turn now. 2 runners still together up top. Inside, Dozen Diamonds, nose in front. Rando's been pestering from the outside. Gap of 2. My Woman claims third. Ain't No Shakin' Kid back to 4th on the rail. Low Key is being asked for more now by Ramon Vasquez. So is My Side Hustle with Christian Torres, and Esperanza's Spirit is given way as they come to the top of the lane. My Woman at 38-1, trying to catch Rando, and Dozen Diamonds. Rando off the turn, kicking on. Outside, it's My Woman putting up a good effort today at a number. Dozen Diamonds down on the rail. 1 furlong to go. Rando still has that narrow edge. My Woman trying to catch him. My Woman on the outside gaining ground. My Woman grabs the lead with 100 yards to go, and it's My Woman in an upset. My Woman 38-1 gets it. Rando's second best, then Dozen Diamonds and Low Key.
Incredibly hard one to come up with here. 38-1 upset. Race 3, My Woman. Joey Belmont.
Yeah, I was looking to think, did we miss something? Maybe we did. I don't see it, though.
Back to New York. Race 4 starts the late pick 5. Let's go back to Maggie.
Yeah, we'll check in with your 3 to 5 favorite on the rail, Romantic Dancer, as she is one that in her last two, I admit, I haven't liked her much at all. Actually, last time and 2 back, or 3 back, I should say. She just, I don't know, maybe it's just the product of her being in the field she was with. Just didn't look as good as they did. But as Andy pointed out, she's gotten a little bit more time now between starts, a whole month this time around, and her weight's better. She's gotten a nice haircut, aka she's been clipped, so her coat looks better. The one thing I will say, in her last 2 efforts, last time she was reluctant to switch to her outside right lead, and the time before that she never did at all. So I feel like that's something that is a little bit of an Achilles heel of hers, that she can't quite finish her races as effectively because she's not switching her leads. Now, the last 2 times she's worn front bandages, front wraps. Today, they're off. Maybe it's random and there's no point in mentioning it, but I did think it was interesting given the fact that she didn't switch leads in those last 2 times with the front wraps on. Guys?
Thank you, Maggie. Here we go. Pratt, he won the 3rd on Maldini. Looks to go back-to-back here on Romantic Dancer. Odds-on favorite, 3 to 5 from the inside for the Rick Dutrow Jr. barn. Let's go upstairs. Chris Griffin, the call, the start of the late pick 5.
Artemis Sound goes in. All set. Movement there towards the outside. Close the front of the gate. And they're off. Artemis Sound broke sharply from the far outside, is up by a quick half length, and here at the rail, that's Romantic Dancer. Taking off the pace, Always Practical's in 3rd, but close up here is trying to move forward as Artemis Sound is working over to the rail, is in command, is now up by a full length. Right behind this leader is Romantic Dancer. Going to be patiently ridden, is now a challenging 2nd from Always Practical, still in 3rd. Will Not Be Swayed is in 4th, and the early trailer, Intentious. 23.10 for that opening quarter mile. Controlling things still, Artemis Sound is doing it nicely enough well into the far turn, and Always Practical now gets the cue. At the rail, Romantic Dancer, no move yet. Flavien Prat is in 3rd, looking for a seam as they're approaching a quarter mile left to go with Will Not Be Swayed. Red Cap swinging out wider. Intentious still the trailer. They haven't caught Artemis Sound yet. It's Artemis Sound. Romantic Dancer's got to make a decision in behind this leader. 46.27 for a half-mile time, and Artemis Sound still finding here to the outside. Always Practical. Intentious is on the scene late. Artemis Sound with a 16th left to go is still in front and still moving strong. Give it to Artemis Sound. Manny Franco, front-running victory. Always Practical 2nd, then came Intentious. And Romantic Dancer, 1 minute 10.64 seconds.
Artemis Sound ready to roll off the bench, and 4 to 1 here for the comeback win.
He broke a little bit more sharply than Romantic Dancer. Having said that, I don't think this was Flavien's best ride. They went 23 and change the first quarter. We've had some lower level horses going 22 and 1. So this was a slow pace, and give Manny Franco credit. He kind of intimidated Flavien a little bit. Flavien, win or lose, should have been more forceful, more aggressive early, and at least made this horse go a bit faster and create some separation so he doesn't get buried inside. But give credit to the Pletcher barn and Manny Franco. This horse was ready to go, got a soft trip up front, and proved to be much the best.
And winds up going off 3rd choice in this 5-horse field.
Dead in the board. If he ran last, you just said he was dead in the board, or she was. In this case, she was just an overlay. The one broke a step slow, but it was really an unaggressive ride by Flavien. And one of the reasons he's been as successful is that he's been so aggressive. In this case, I don't know, maybe he just thought I'm riding the best horse, it doesn't matter. In this case, it did. Might not have won anyway, but it was not a great ride.
4 to 1 on your winner. So Artemis Sound comeback effort, 5-year-old debut wins for Todd Pletcher, Manny Franco. Late night stables. We finally get an upset on this Friday afternoon card. Manny Franco on the board. Well, the prices when we come back. Back with you on our Friday coverage on Fox Sports 2. Watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Hill and Dale at Alapa. And the fourth at Aqueduct. Artemis Sound off the bench. Impressive at 4-1 here. Manny Franco for Todd Pletcher. And our winner circle lead in brought to you by Phasic Tipton Digital, North America's #1 digital platform for thoroughbreds. Learn more about our auction schedule at digital.phasictipton.com. Let's get digital. Artemis Sound, 5-year-old debut, a winning one. Let's go to Maggie.
Here with Manny Franco, who's 3 for 3 with Artemis Sound. And Manny, I love the way she broke today, and I love your decision. Just put her in the lead.
Yeah, me too. She broke so perfect. I don't get on her way. I think she's capable to do it like today in front. And I was confident on her. Like you say, I've been on her 3 times and 3 wins. So I'm just happy to be on board today.
Why would Todd ever not put you on her? But you'll be aboard Igniter coming up at tomorrow's feature, the Jimmy Wingfield Stakes. He is the favorite. He's run some fast races, well-bred colt as well. What do you think about his chances?
Yeah, I mean, he's a nice colt. I've been on him in the mornings like twice for this coming race. I like the way he's working, so hopefully he keep building, like momentum and keep winning. I think he's a nice horse, like I say, and can't wait.
Manny, we talk about Linda Rice running away with the trainer standings. Well, you're quietly running away with this jockey standings as far as this Aqueduct meet, and obviously looking for another NYRA year title as well. Talk a little bit about the success that we see just day in and day out from you.
Yeah, no, I just happy to be on this position, to riding for the best barns in New York and everywhere else, but especially here. I'm my agent, John Panago. He's the man behind the scenes, so he's the boss. Every mount that I have, I know I had a chance, and I just try to do my best. I study the races and doing it out there.
You are doing it out there, so very well done. Congratulations. I'm sure one of many winners for the rest of the week.
Thank you, Maggie. Hopefully.
All right, Manny Franco aboard Artemis Sound, and they're keeping their streak alive, Greg. Maybe some more wins in their future together.
Manny just so solid, so athletic, such a strong finisher, and this one was ready to go. Being aggressive early paid off.
Yeah, no question about it. And, the one broke a step slow in an unaggressive ride, and an aggressive ride by Manny all added up to a nice victory. And some people bet the 1 to show. It didn't work out.
Manny will be on Igniter this weekend as well.
He's way the horse to beat.
In the Jimmy Wingfield 6-5 morning line favorite.
Way the horse to beat in here. I'm going to try to beat him and his decision with Time to Roll, but I have no illusion. Igniter's good. He beat the bias last time. He's in good form. He's the horse to beat.
Yeah, 85 buyer and a win in a $100,000 allowance optional claiming race in the 3-year-old return. It's going to be a tough one to beat.
He is. I mean, his decision ran well first time, but he also got a tremendous ride and trip from Ray Lu Gutierrez that day. He broke from top, got to the good rail, stayed there when a long shot went, and ended up angling around, but spent so much time in the rail. But he was a horse that Amelia Green got. Todd Pletcher originally had for Rapoli Stables, and she had it, and the horse ran very well, but it's going to be tough in the second start to build on that effort and be able to beat Igniter if he shows up with good effort. I'm going to try Time to Roll, who was against the track, to maybe upset the favorite, but it's not going to be easy.
And that one for Horacio to pause. That's race 7, Saturday card, 4:17 Eastern time. Before we leave, again, part 2 of our coverage, back 5:30 to 6:30. This is to come during our second show this afternoon on Fox Sports 2. The feature, race 9 at Oaklawn, 5.5 furlongs. Fillies and mares 4 and up, and can't believe it. 4-time winner for the Jimmy DeVito barn, one of a few speeds in here, but she is very quick. 7-year-old debut coming up.
Yeah, I mean, this is a new system, which I was in some advisory boards. Nobody listened to me, but was an advisory board about a rating system, and they're trying to get these, and the rating systems is used successfully, I think, in Australia. It's created somewhat some dichotomous races. Horses like the 4 and 7 are going to be gigantic prices in here. with a recency, I guess, can't believe it. Maybe he's one to beat. I prefer Dream Concert, who's making her first start, though, for Al Stall. She's got the back races that would smoke this field. But her last 2 races, which were back in June, are a bit of a concern.
Yeah. And
question.
Cutting back in distance, 5.5 furlongs, is that too short?
Might be too short, but I'm going to take Al Stall.
And
Al,
Alice Stewart, the feature win yesterday. He's got Anna Karina. No interest?
We missed the wedding. No, I didn't. I'm not on for that race, so my opinion this race is worth probably less than 0.
5:44 scheduled Eastern time for that feature later today at Oaklawn. So again, we're back 5:30 Eastern time, part 2 of our coverage. So long to Andy for the afternoon. I'll be on with Maggie Wolfendale on the desk with me when we return. We will see you then, hopefully later today. Still ahead. That feature from Oaklawn, it was Artemis Sound off the bench. Manny Franco, Todd Pletcher. And not a bad start to your 5-year-old season, rolling like that. And as just talked about, can't believe it, still to come in that feature at Oaklawn, part 2 of our coverage later today. That one for the Jimmy DeVito barn. She's getting set for her 7-year-old return to the races in Hot Springs.
Gunrunner is the sire of 16 millionaires and 12 Grade 1 winners. Last year, he sired $17 million yearlings, including the Keeneland September sale topper. He was the sire of the $2.2 million Keeneland November weanling sale topper as well. Gunrunner was the co-leading sire of 2-year-old Grade 1 winners, including Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner Super Corridoro. Gunrunner, breed true.
In racing, bloodlines are kingdoms, and every kingdom needs an heir. Sired by Uncle Mo, Kings Barnes was chosen for greatness. An $800,000 2-year-old built like an empire. He defeated champion Arcangelo on debut, dominated the Louisiana Derby in his 3rd start, and achieved a defining victory in the Grade 1 Stephen Foster. Kings Barnes, where the line of kings continues.
The day is here when legends are made and anything is possible. The 2026 Arkansas Derby, where the prize is $1.5 million and a shot at glory at the Kentucky Derby.
Here's Sandman threatening to run a big one. And Sandman, he's run his A race and he gets a confidence booster heading to Kentucky.
Come witness history. Plan your stay today at Oaklawn Hot Springs and come join the fun.
New York breds. Race them.
Respect them.
Bet them.
Respect them.
Breed them.
Respect them.
Buy them.
Respect them.
Train them for a second career.
Respect them.
Join us in respecting thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.